Yeah! Here we freaking go. Freaking go. Yeah, folks and soaks alike, welcome to another episode of Oops. How you been? With Brett the Mott. I, of course, am your fearless leader in all my banged glory, Brett the Mott. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in, as always. Very much appreciated. It lights up my life every Tuesday night when I sit down at the old computer and I launch the old stream and... Is this what we're doing? Sure, why not? That's what we're doing tonight, folks. I have had a hell of a week. As anyone who watched last week understands, the family life is no more, I guess you could say. I've been considering changing my last name, folks. If I didn't have so much brand recognition on DeMott, I'd be changing my last name. DeMort. Denot? Who knows? Maybe we'll do a poll to see what I should change my last name to. But the truth is, I'm not going to talk to the family no more. Okay? They don't do nothing but bring me down. Okay? Parents, all they do is serve to fuck you up, folks. Sorry for my French, but my parents fucked me up, all right? And a lot of people are going to sit out there and they're going to say, Brett, you fucked your kids up too. And I'll say this, you've never met my children. All the stories about my kids are made up, anything that you heard, okay? And it's funny that I'm thinking about the parenting thing this week, because I don't know if you guys all saw this Bean Dad thing on Twitter. First of all, isn't there better things to do than to just sit there and talk on Twitter all day? I feel like there got to be better things to do. And second of all, why is this guy getting all the attention? This guy didn't do nothing, okay? All this guy did, he threw his kid a can of beans in a can opener and said, hey, figure it out. Folks, we don't need to talk about this guy for 100 years. I've done that before. I do that all the time. You know, I mean, it's like, seriously, you guys ever seen... what I'm trying to say is it's not a big story, okay? If this guy's going to get all that notoriety for that, I should get notoriety for everything that I ever done, okay? You guys know those little dog treat dispensers? I gave my dog one of those. It's not like this guy did that. Okay? It's not like this guy bought a little dog treat dispenser and said the only way that my kid's going to be able to eat food is by doing that, is figuring out how to get the thing out of the fucking thing. But I did that. And you didn't see dog treat dispenser dad popping off on Twitter getting all this publicity for my podcast. They say... No press, bad press. There's no such thing as, they say that whatever the press is that you got's fine. So even if the press that you get is bad, it's still good, okay? And I'm trying to get this show to pop off, folks. So let's get this trending on. Get dog treat dispenser dad trending. Dog treat dispenser Brett hashtag dog treat dispenser dad Brett the Mott podcast. Let's get that trending. Not some guy from some shitty band. Have you guys heard this guy's band? This guy doesn't deserve our attention. Let this guy be a nobody in his house. That's all I'm asking. Why can't we just let nobodies be nobodies no more? This guy doesn't deserve it, all right? got a podcast with Ken Jennings. Who's Ken Jennings? People say, oh, Brett, it's the guy from Jeopardy. What's Jeopardy? These people don't matter, folks. I'm so sick of us making people feel like they matter who don't deserve it. And then people who do matter sit there and do podcasts for 27 years of their life, and they still can't afford to go on vacation. That, of course, is not me. I could go on vacation if I wanted to. But here's the thing. We're all bad dads, okay? Anybody out there, here's the thing about parenting that people don't understand. When you become a parent, you're still just a fucking child. The fact that we expect parents to know exactly what to do with their kids all the time is insane. And there's people online being like, oh, you got to be a parent. You got to treat your kid good or whatever. I don't know how to treat a kid good. How do you, what do you think, you just learned that? No. When you have a kid, you're still the person you were the day before you had the kid. And if I had another kid, I almost said if I had a kid. I know that I have kids. If I had another kid, I'd be the same guy that I am today. The kid don't change you, folks. If you're a piece of shit before you had a kid, you're going to be a piece of shit after you had a kid. If you're a good guy before you have a kid, you're going to be a good guy after you have a kid. Obviously, this Bean Dad guy is a guy who loves puzzles and for some reason feeds his kids beans. I've never had beans. All of the details in this Bean Dad story are foreign to me. Who's Ken Jennings? What are beans? How do you open a bean? Can opener. Never heard of it. The Long Winters, I know what that is. I've never listened to a song by it. I didn't know that a season could write a song. Bean Dad, more like Bin Dad. Listen, folks, it might seem like I'm trying real hard to cause a stir for the internet right now, okay? You might be watching this thinking, Brett, it feels like you're pushing really hard. Feels like you're trying to create controversy by calling out Bean Dad. And that's not the case. I'm just flabbergasted by the situation. But yeah, if Bean Dad wants to come on How You Been with Brett DeMott and plead his case, sure, Bean Dad can come on How You Been with Brett DeMott and plead his case. I guarantee you, I'm a worse dad than this guy. Why am I bragging about that? I don't know. I feel a sense of competition with this man. No idea why. I see a middle-aged man gain any sort of notoriety on the internet, and I lose my fucking mind. I do not understand myself sometimes, folks. I'm working on it. Me and Dudley, my therapist, have been working on that. I brought this whole Bean Dad thing to him, workshopped this bit with him in a session this week, so I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get to the bottom of it, but there's something about seeing a man who looks like me find success that just toasts my dick. And I know that's a phrase you've probably never heard before. But it's a common phrase. Okay? So forget this guy. Forget this Bean Dad. Forget him. Let him fucking fall out of the fucking zeitgeist. Or whatever. Because you know he's going to get replaced by somebody else doing something fucking stupid on the internet tomorrow. Bean Dad, yeah, more like baseball bat grandpa. More like poster uncle. I mean, come on. Noun person. Is that what we're doing now? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Just let this guy fade away. Folks, that's all I'm going to say about Bean Dad. It's over. Bean Dad's over. I ended it. Let's maybe make it so that I'm the guy who ended Bean Dad, okay? We're not talking about Bean Dad anymore. It's over. But I'm really excited for the show today, folks. Now that I got that emotional rant out of the way, I'm very, very excited for the show today because I got the guest of a lifetime. We've had a couple of teachers on the show in the past, right? A couple of my high school teachers. But we ain't had this high school teacher on in the past, folks, because let me tell you this. I've been saving this guy for a rainy day. Hutch was my high school teacher, my high school history teacher. And he was the teacher you want to hang out with, okay? I know you all probably think you had the coolest teachers in high school, but you didn't. You didn't, okay? Brett DeMott did. And Hutch was one of them. So I'm very excited for you all to meet Hutch in just a little bit. It's going to be a great little chat. We're going to have a nice little time. But before we do that, I'm going to jump into the old question bag. If you'd like to send a question to me to answer on the show, you can send it to howyoubeen@gmail.com. If there ain't weird words in it or stuff I can't read live, then I'll answer them on the show for sure. So let's real quick, we'll jump into the first one I got here. This one comes from, let me see here. Whoa, hang on. Hang on, where are you? This one comes from Steve. Dear Brett, I need some advice. I have a, quote, friend who owns a racehorse. In the last race, the horse fell and injured his leg. Now this friend wants to put the horse down, but says he wants to try some of the meat before he gets rid of the body. He says it's manly to not waste meat. Is this true? I'm not going to try any, but what would you do? Absolutely not. I wouldn't eat a horse. And let me tell you this. If there's anybody out here who has a friend who's telling you to experiment in this kind of way, you got to tell this guy to kick rocks. Your friend's going to sit there and tell you to try a freaking horse? I mean, come on. A friend wouldn't even suggest that you eat their horse. Also, what kind of relationship did this guy have with his racehorse that he's trying to eat it when it's dead? That's freaking disgusting. It'd be like eating your pet. No freaking chance, man. I'll tell you this. It don't matter how starved I am. You are never going to catch Brett DeMott eating a thing whose name that he knew. Okay? No chance. You can't eat a thing you had a relationship with. It's Jesus. I said it's Jesus. I don't know why. I don't know why I said it's Jesus. It's not what I meant. But don't eat the horse, man. I can't even believe I got to say this to you, Steve. Don't eat the horse. Say an unequivocal no to your friend. All right, and one more question here from Engstrom. What world record would you want to establish if you could? Now, this is a really good question. You got to think about what a world record is. A world record is posterity. It's a legacy. So, what world record would I want? I mean, Jesus, this is a tough question. I mean, best guy, I want to be best person. Is that a thing that we can do? World record for best person. I mean, I guess fastest stair fix. I'm pretty good at fixing a stair. Small stairs, like 3 stairs up to the patio. That's the kind of thing I'm good at fixing, like a small fix. I don't know. I think best person is probably the one that I would want. So I guess I'll stick to best person. I feel like that works. Folks, it is about that time. I'm going to jump to a quick break here shortly and get my buddy Hutch on the line. Shouldn't take too long, but just talk amongst yourselves. That's the thing that I'm using now. When I go to break, I'm using it. Talk amongst yourselves. It's brand new. It's a thing that only I've ever said. Might make a t-shirt of it. Who knows? Talk amongst yourselves. It's very catchy. Sounds good coming out of my mouth with my accent. I don't think it would work with any other accents. So talk amongst yourselves for a couple minutes while I get my buddy Hutch on a line. I'll be right back. Hang tight.
What's your name again?
Folks, I'm back. Oh, baby, am I back? And I'm so excited. So excited to have a little catch up with, honestly, one of the formative voices for Brett DeMott. I mean, if I had to point to somebody who made me mostly who I am, I'd say this guy's definitely somewhere in a ballpark. I'm not going to say he's the only person who made me who I am, but he's definitely a person who had a little something to do with the DeMott flavor sort of taking shape in the gravy, if you know what I mean. So, folks, without further ado, let me introduce you to my high school history teacher, and I know him as Hutch. Hutch, what's going on, man? What's going on?
What's happening, kiddo?
Yeah,
Good to see ya.
Oh, great to see you as well.
Boy.
It's really great to see you as well. Honestly, you look so good. You look good. You look like you're living life out there.
I feel it. I feel good.
Yeah, that's great to hear, man.
Yeah.
That's great to hear.
Living free and easy, minimal responsibilities, minimal obligations.
Oh man,
keeping it nice and light.
That was what the thing that I loved about you in high school. Honestly, it felt like you were just like you were living life different than every other teacher. I felt like every time I had like a teacher conference or whatever with any other teacher. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just felt they were so stuffy. They didn't have anything interesting to say. They're like grades, tests, rules. Like quit talking so much.
That's all an ego trip, Brett. That is an ego trip, and that is a trip I never wanted to take.
Yeah, and I know
free and
it was awesome.
In my class, homework was optional.
Honestly, and I'll tell you this. I think I wanted to do your homework more than I wanted to do anybody else's because you were like, hey, if you get to it, you get to it. So I wanted to be.
You never did it.
No, of course not.
You never did it, but you wanted to.
Yeah. And we'd talk about the homework. I'd go in there at lunch.
Yep.
And I'd sit down. We'd talk about the homework. And like, so you'd give me you'd give me the sort of the nuts and bolts of it,
the broad overview.
Yeah, and that's what history is, right? And that was the thing that you always said. You said history
is just a broad overview.
Exactly. History class is never.
I used to write on the blackboard first day. History is the gist. Like who? What? Because you know what? That's all anybody remembers anyway.
Yeah.
You
dates,
talk to any
whatever.
normal adult and say, tell me about World War II. They got the gist.
Yeah.
The general idea.
I mean, and really all history boils down to the people have decided were the bad guys get beaten by the guys who are telling the story. That's 100% of history.
Right.
That's all it ever is. And that
That's
you were
right.
the first person that sort of let me realize the sort of relative nature of things. And so you went a little deeper than other teachers. It felt like you kind of dived deep into that
Yep.
stuff.
Right
Yeah.
after I wrote on the blackboard, history is the gist, I then wrote, history is a lie. It was cool, man. It
Yeah.
was a cool time.
I'll tell you this, it absolutely blew our minds. And it wasn't it was not
I love the look on kids' faces when I'd write that. They'd be like, "What?"
yeah, man. And it,
now,
like,
now they're interested.
and that was like your whole thing as a teacher. You were a teacher that wanted to affect kids, and that a lot of other teachers took issue with that with you because your sort of lessons
Yes.
didn't all necessarily stay within the realm of like the history we talk about.
History.
Because I mean you had a lot of life experiences.
I had a lot of life experiences, and I want specifically about aliens and being kidnapped. And when that happens to you, you feel like you're lying to kids if you don't warn them. Hey, yeah, here's the gist of World War II.
Yeah.
Here's the gist of whatever the Industrial Revolution, and also keep your peepers open after midnight because an alien might grab you
And here's
take
the
you
thing.
up for examination. And
That's
that was several weeks of my curriculum.
Yeah, and I want to make it very clear to people, we're not talking about an abduction in the classic sense. Your experience, what you told us,
No.
your experience of being kidnapped by an alien was very sort of classic, sort of like movie kidnapping
Ransom
almost.
Yes. I was taken, and then a ransom note was given by the aliens to my parents, for asking for money in exchange for my safe return. Note written with magazine letters cut out on pieces of paper.
Yeah,
The whole 9 yards.
yeah. Well, because
I was
I mean,
kept on a stool in an alien basement.
you didn't even see the ship.
It was rough. I never saw the ship because it knocked me out, and I woke up in the basement of an alien. Also, this happened to me when I was 32. They still sent the note to my parents. They're like, "What are we dealing with this kid? He moved out." And I was like,
and you had sort
I'm
of
not
just
the one. I didn't execute this plan.
And you had sort of just had like a sort of falling out with your mom, if I remember correctly, because
Yes.
there was a whole day's
I was
lesson
just-
about
yes.
that.
Brett, what I liked about you was when we had our lunchtime chats. Yes, we talked about history, but we got real as people.
Yeah.
We trusted each other as friends, and I really appreciated that. And I hope I never violated that trust in any sense. I really respected my students' safety and privacy, and that's why I
100%.
told them about the alien kidnapping so they could be ready for it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll say this: I think knowing about your alien kidnapping made me actually feel comfortable coming to you with things that maybe sounded a little far fetched if I told them to other people, because I knew you'd hear me out.
I appreciated it.
Some
Some of the stuff sounded outlandish to my ears, but I was like, I don't know. You tell me your experience.
Yeah, I mean, for example, when I told you that when I went on that camping trip, and me and my friends did the Ouija board, and a ghost appeared, and it was just like a ghost that we had like just a conversation with and told, and we just sort of talked. You were the only person that believed me at
A
that
very
time.
chill ghost.
Yes.
Yes.
So chill. And then, thankfully, Hutch, I don't know, I was able to prove that this ghost is real because the ghost was actually a guest on the show a couple months ago. So,
Oh, you know what? Good for the ghost. I appreciate that. Owning
Yeah.
up to yourself, that's nice.
yeah.
But you know why? That's because you showed it respect by believing in it and telling people about it, and you didn't lie. And you're like, I know this sounds crazy, which is what I tried to tell the school board when they were like, you got to stop talking about aliens. I was like, I can't.
That school board
It's
meeting,
disrespectful.
the school board meeting that all the kids attended, where you were forced to
At
plead
my
your case.
invitation.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
I
honestly
was like,
brutal.
Hutch needs you, kids. Hutch needs you. Show up.
We all showed up with signs saying
Dressed up as different aliens. I remember, Brett, you were dressed as E.T., which I thought was, not in line with my story, but adorable.
Yeah. I mean, because your aliens obviously were sort of angry and sort of vengeful. I was E.T., a kind and calm alien.
Kind and gentle, but I'm sure they're out there, so I appreciated
Yeah.
them being represented at the meeting,
Exactly.
I wish I got kidnapped by a bunch of ETs. That would have been adorable.
Yeah. If you had to
My aliens they were more like, I don't know, like death metal fans, like just kind of like angry, thin, tall, leather jacket wearing, death metal fan, like just angry beings. You know,
And now,
I don't know what got up their ass.
and now, and one of the interesting things that you've already spoken about is that they did use magazines, and the letter
Yes.
was written in English, and they did
English.
ask
So that
for.
meant they had observed our culture, and they asked for money. They wanted
Right.
American currency. They wanted $15,000 from my old man and my old lady. And like you said, I had just gotten kicked out of my parents' house, and I was 31 years old, and it was an awkward, hard moment. We were estranged, and then I got
Yeah.
kidnapped by these aliens, and they get this ransom note, and I'm like, "Wow, this is the worst timing."
And I want to give you the opportunity here in front of anybody who's skeptical. A lot of people said at the time, Hutch, you were
Yes.
not kidnapped by aliens. You were kidnapped.
Right,
We're not
these were just
disputing.
regular, the regular humans who were in a death metal band kidnapped you, maybe at your consent in a Fargo-like scheme to get ransom money out of your parents because you're broke, because you spend all your money from the teaching high school at the pinball arcade. You orchestrated this, and even if you didn't, you got kidnapped by humans. You're overcomplicating. There were lots of questions.
Yeah, cops were like, actually, Hutch, we'd really love for you to ID the guys. They said draw pictures,
Yeah.
and you said the pictures wouldn't make sense to you.
Yeah, if the way these beings appeared, our minds are not only because I was there for so long, was I able to even begin to process the visual information of these aliens.
Yeah.
One guy, here's the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's hard for me to describe. One of the kidnappers was both fat and skinny. I know that's hard to imagine. He
Yeah.
was humanoid, but part of his frame was fat and part of his frame was skinny. Part of his face had acne. Part of his face didn't. I was like, I don't know what to make of this alien. I was like, well, because I don't follow our rules of anatomy.
Yeah, and that was the thing to me. The moment you said that, I was like, well, I just can't even picture this. It feels like it's
You can't
beyond
picture it.
my understanding. I have no idea what you
The
mean.
closest I can come to of describing that alien is, you know Gas Can, the guy who owns the bowling alley.
Oh yeah,
I
oh,
forget
yeah.
his real name. Gas
Yeah.
Can.
I think his real name might
Eddie.
be Gas Can.
Eddie.
Oh, it's Eddie. Okay,
Oh,
I've
maybe it's
only
Gas Can. Okay,
I've
I
only
don't
ever
know.
heard him called Gas Can.
It's Eddie's bowling alley, but it's run by Gas Can. So I was like, I think that I don't know. Maybe that's Eddie.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, Gas Can is kind of fat and skinny. The alien that I'm thinking of looked kind of like Gas Can,
Yeah, right.
but not totally. But that's
And-
the closest I could come to.
and the, and there's no way, like some people said Gas Can should be a suspect, but there's no way that he could have done it because
Yes.
the only things he does is go to the bowling alley and practice with his band. Those are the only things that he does. There would be no way.
Only things
that-
he does, he loves his band. And the bowling alleys, I was like, this doesn't really make sense. Like, yeah, is there some similarity physically? Sure, yeah. But like, it's just his alibi is too good. He never leaves that bowling alley.
Yeah, because I mean, and imagine if you just went on
So-
somebody's look. If that was the thing that you could use to like get somebody.
wanna live in that
accused
country.
of- No chance. No
Yep.
chance.
No
'Cause
way. So I was just
I'd
like,
be
sorry,
accused
it's
of all the
not it.
crimes. No, exactly. It was
Yeah, of
really
course.
such a frustrating
You got such
time.
an everyman look.
Exactly right. So
Anyway, the cops
ununique.
are like, we want to help you. ID this guy. We know it's Gas Can. And I was like, hey, I don't think. Tell me, is Gas Can from another planet? Because if he is not, then you can eliminate him as a suspect. Because these were aliens.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was kidnapped by them.
The cops in this in our town are honestly absolutely incompetent. They've never done
I
anything.
hate to say it.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I agree.
Yeah.
I want to support them, but I tell you, the boneheaded moves they make, they leave me no choice
Bonehead.
but
Great
to label them
description.
as incompetent.
Yeah, it's
Boneheaded.
ridiculous.
First thing I told these guys is aliens. They're like, oh, how about this guy? How about Gas Can? I was like, is he an alien? Are you listening?
They didn't
My
even
parents
follow
paid
the
the
lead.
$15,000. Yeah, it's the first thing I said. Okay, just look up. Could you just at least pay me the respect of just looking in the sky?
Yeah, it's
Take
ridiculous.
a gander around. Is that gonna? Oh boy.
I just wish that they had
it was
let
such a
you sort of
drag.
walk them through it. Yeah, I know, man, and I'm sorry that you had to go through it. And I'm also, it kills me that that's the reason that they didn't let you teach at the school no more. That kills me.
That's what I say. I'm like, hey, do you have a problem with my teaching? Is there a complaint from a student, or have I been disrespectful, or I don't know. Have I done something wrong? Other than just talk about something that you don't wish I was talking about. Like, they're like, actually, yeah, you're not that good a teacher. You don't enforce homework. You kind of have a little bit too familiar a relationship with these teenagers. You chat a lot about your personal life, and that makes people uncomfortable. So you're not great.
Yeah,
And I was like,
that's
okay,
subjective.
you know what? That's constructive criticism I could take. I'll listen to that.
Exactly. It's exactly. It's like
And they fired me in such a humiliating fashion too. Like when they just that picture they put on the front page of the paper. That was I think they deliberately put an unflattering photo of me.
and they don't do that for teachers getting fired.
Yeah, you don't get like a front page story.
Yeah. I remember another protest when that story came out. Me and all the kids, we went down to the newspaper office, and we all dressed up like old newsies, and we're just saying extra extra, don't read this crap, and then just lit all the newspapers on fire in the parking lot.
But that meant so much to me, even though it had no effect on my firing at all.
No,
It did mean so much to me that my students supported me.
a lot
So
of
thank
people
you for
said
that.
it was misplaced anger because the paper had nothing to do with your firing, and we should have done more. If we wanted to have an effect, we should have protested more at school.
The school
we-
board and
There was a lot of things we could have done.
I
We
saw
all made
that too, but the
mistakes.
intention was loving, and I took it that way. I also like how into dressing up you and all your friends were. You had so many themed protests, which I didn't really think was your vibe.
Hey, you got to make a splash, Hutch. You got to make a splash.
No,
You're,
I don't mind Hush.
Yeah.
I think Hush is a good name.
Hey, maybe it's an alias you could use to get hired back. Go in there and say, "Hello,
yeah.
my name's Hush."
My name's
Uh,
Hush. I
But
won't
no.
talk about aliens.
It is. It's honestly, it's the sort of 2.5-ish years surrounding these events are honestly some of the most chaotic times in my life, but honestly, times that I cherished the most. It was the
I'm so
time that
glad
I
to hear
felt
that.
most connected to my classmates. It was the time
Mm-hmm.
that I felt the most purpose in life, and I'll say even to this day, I don't think I felt the kind of purpose that I felt when I was fighting for justice for Hutch. I'll be honest. I think that's the
Boy,
God's honest
boy.
truth. And
Well, I would say you won because I felt supported. So even though I was fired, and have not really been able to have any kind of steady employment in town since then, because I am what most people refer to as a laughing stock.
yeah, and
The
didn't-
love of my students has kept me buoyant.
that's good, man. Because we still think about you, and we still check in. We haven't talked in a couple months, but it seems like you're making ends meet, which I think is good.
I'm doing okay. I tour some of the alien abduction conventions to talk about my kidnapping, and you can get a small speaker's fee there. And I have a small amount of merch that I just put on TeePublic, which is doing all right.
That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. Are these T-shirts, mugs? What are we looking at? Are
I
they
got T-shirts. One of them says "Hutch Much," which doesn't really track as a logical
Yeah.
sentence, but I
And-
thought the rhyming.
Also, it doesn't really have anything to do with aliens, which I feel like could help you in your sales at these conventions. Like if it was
I refuse to use aliens in my merchandising. It's just a picture of my face and the word "Hutch."
it's too on the nose. You want to be known for who you are, not what
I don't
happened
wanna-
to you.
I don't want to pander. I don't want to pander. I don't want to be condescending to these people. I
I
do
get
have
it.
pictures of me on a stool tied up to represent the kidnapping, but I do not put aliens on the drawings of the merch. So one of them is a drawing of me on a stool, my hands tied behind my back, tape over my mouth, and it says "Hutch Much."
I mean, sounds like a piece of art. If
sold
you
it.
ask me,
I sold a fair number.
that's good. I think it sounds like a beautiful piece of artwork. And I think we
I'll
don't
send you
want to
one
be
for
one
free
thing.
if you want. I'll send you a freebie.
Hutch, you don't got to do that. You don't got to do it. I can't take it for
Brett,
free. I'm going to have
yeah.
to send you some money. I'm going to have to send you money. How much do you sell these things for?
$64 each.
$64?
That's the number of days I was kidnapped.
So it is kind of related. Like there's little Easter eggs in there.
If you
Hutch,
look,
Hutch.
If
There's
you
Easter
look,
eggs.
it's a little Easter egg.
Yeah, 64 days. Yeah. I think you know what? I think I can afford $64 for a picture of of my favorite teacher, Hutch. So I can make that happen for you for
Yeah,
sure.
well,
But I want one, and I'll put it.
Not twisting- the offer stands.
I will fly it proudly at the hardware pop up that I started, which hasn't been open for a little while. Due to lack of demand.
What's happened? What happened to the hardware?
Well,
Lack of demand.
I started I went independent. I was working at the hardware store downtown, but then I went bankrupt, had to sell it, got hired back.
Yeah.
Got hired back by the guy who bought it out from under me to work a few shifts, and then I decided to go independent. And it turns out independent.
That sounds humiliating.
It truly
You're
was.
working with a guy who bought you out.
I'll tell you
rough.
this, Hutch. I've talked about it a lot on the show, and I don't think I've ever really given it the justice it deserves in terms of the humiliation. It really
If somebody bought my
sucked.
store for me to get a job working for them, I'd feel pretty bad.
They said it ain't all bad. Want to come in and work a couple shifts? And I said, well, I got no other fucking choice, do I? So I went in there and started selling hammers and stuff. It's honestly demoralizing, and I haven't ever really processed it fully, which I think is
Yeah, I can understand.
is a thing that's got to happen. And I feel like you're probably a person who can really identify with this idea of having to process trauma. How did you sort of find
Yep, it
yourself
takes a
actually
long time.
processing? Yeah, what was the process like for you to process what happened to you?
First, it was flat denial.
Mm-hmm.
It took a long time. I was like, that was no way those aliens, that was a death metal band, and I was stupid to let myself get kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
I heard people in the house, and I just kind of was too tired to get out of bed, and I ignored them for a while, and they were shouting my name, and I put my pillow over my head and sort of tucked away, and then then next thing I know, I'm kidnapped. So I was like, no way those are aliens. But then I thought about it kind of hard after I got let free, after my parents paid the ransom. And I was like, it must have been aliens, because I think I could fight off any of the humans that I think it was.
Yeah.
Because I kept it pretty tight with my intramural basketball free throw regimen.
You really did, honestly. You what was that regimen? You would shoot 1,000 free throws a day, or you had to make 1,000 free throws a day. What was
I had to make 1,000 free throws, so I'd shoot however many it took till I hit 1,000. And I had the shoulders, of a decathlete.
Yeah, you did. They were boulder shoulders. Doesn't even begin to describe them.
I was like Popeye, but instead of big bulging forearms, just two big balloons in the top of my arms.
It's like somebody did this to Popeye. They went all the way up.
Yep, they just
all the way up
shoved
to
it
the
all the way
shoulders.
back up to the shoulder. Yeah,
It was impressive stuff.
It looked like sort of severe inflammation, like something was wrong. But nope, those are just well-defined shoulders. I didn't, my other muscle groups were underdeveloped, but if I had to fight, as long as I could get underneath somebody and punch straight up at a 45-degree angle, you were effed.
Yeah.
You were effed.
And hey, can I tell you this, Hutch? If I'm laying in my bed and somebody stands over me, only one way to punch there. 45
That's
degrees
45
up.
degrees.
I'm
ready. I've been training for this.
You've been training for the exact situation of a person kidnapping you, and so there's no way that it could have been a person.
I socked this guy several times. He was like, "Ow, Hutch, quit it!" I was like, "These aliens learned English." Son of a bitch.
Which, if they're gonna write the letter, they probably had to learn English so they could write the letter with the magazine clip outs.
They must have spent years preparing for this.
Yeah,
observing our culture. Are you kidding me?
And it's crazy to also think that your family is the one that they targeted, because you weren't a notably wealthy family.
No,
right?
Not at all. I was still living with my parents at the age of 31, and they were trying to get me out so they could Airbnb my place. It was all financial.
Which they eventually
did. My dad made
right?
no money. He sold rocks.
This was not like gravel for driveways or like construction.
No.
This was
collectibles. He just would go out and be like, "This is a good one." I can't believe he made any kind of living at that. God bless him. He was a heck of a salesman.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't believe that the rock store thrived for as long as it did.
Thrived is a generous description of it. he make $12,000 a year selling rocks, which is like not enough money to support a family on. However, it is an extraordinary amount of money to make selling rocks.
and
Like
and
it was both a failure and a success wrapped up into one. He's an
yeah.
extraordinary man, my father.
Yeah, I mean, he made $12,000 a year. And if I remember correctly, your mom worked, but she lost money every year.
Yeah, she was not a good negotiator. She sold vacuum cleaners for Mr. McGraw, but somehow she worked on a commission where if she didn't sell enough, she felt she owed the store money.
So
'Cause she just had the strict code of honor.
she gave the store a paycheck.
So some weeks she'd get commission, but some weeks she'd be like, "Nope, I owe you this week."
Man,
She'd end up with a net loss every year.
I mean, that's honestly that's real personal integrity that I admire. To recognize your
Me too.
your mistake or your draw. I can't think of the word, but just to be that confident in who
Yeah.
you are and know how
She's accountable.
That's the word
Yeah.
I was looking for. Exactly. She's accountable, Hutch. Which, with parents like that, I just cannot believe, again, that anybody in town questioned your story. The idea that you
I can't. Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense to me.
Humans would know we didn't have money.
Yeah.
Humans would not be able to withstand my punches.
No.
You
There's
know?
just no. Yeah.
Man, humans. I don't know. It didn't make any sense. I mean, the aliens. They had this elaborate backstory. They'd be like, "Hutch, this is for failing me." I was like, "Shut up. What the fuck does that mean, failing you?" I didn't. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Punch, punch. Now I'm out. Wake up in a basement.
This is for failing. I mean, that feels so like. That feels like the weight of the world. They're putting this is like you're answering for humanity's sort of universal
Yeah, exactly.
issues. Yeah.
Exactly. We failed you as, I assume they're talking about the human race failing to fulfill their role in the galactic drama, whatever role that is. And whatever it is, it's not my fault.
And now, not to
Tell
change
that
this,
to a bunch of aliens.
not to change the subject, but the galactic drama is. Are you still working on your book? About
Yes.
this sort of galactic drama that you sort of placed yourself into?
I have a draft. I am talking to a couple of publishers about maybe trying to help it see the light of day. But I have a full draft of volume 1, and I have a thorough outline of volume 2 and 3. That'll write itself when I get around to it, because all the story
absolutely.
beats are worked out.
Outlining is the hardest part. Once you get there, it's just coloring in the squares with the colors
Yeah.
that you already chose. So you're gonna get there.
It's called the Galactic Drama Hutchaphone. Now,
Catchy.
Why?
That's catchy.
Why I used that word is not revealed immediately in the book, but hutchaphone as a term does play big time into the galactic
Hutch,
drama.
I'll tell you this: the second that you said hutchaphone, my ears perked up. I was like, "Oh, what's this?
Right?
What's this?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You want to know more, right?
Is this an object? Is this a philosophy? Is this like a is this like the sort of process of turning a word into hutch, like where I'm gonna go on a hutch-a-day if you're going on a holiday? Is that a hutchaphone? I don't know. That was what came to my mind.
You don't
Guess
know
I
yet,
gotta
but
read.
you want to know.
I want to know bad.
Yeah, that's what we call in the publishing industry. That's what we call something to unpack.
Yes, and every book's got to have
That's how
it.
you hook them.
And
Every
that
book's got to have it. You don't have it, no one's reading it.
Man, can I tell you something, Hutch?
No.
Sitting here talking to you, it just brings me back, man. It just feels like the good
Me
old
too.
days when I was young and
Yeah.
I was, just walking into your classroom with my little sack lunch, sitting down on the desks, and you would just tell me about the world. I mean, it makes me really miss the good old days. It just feels good to
I
chat
miss
with
those
you, man.
days too. I really loved talking to you, Brett, and to my students. I just found that if you treat high schoolers like they're adults, which by the way, they practically are, they return that respect with like empathy and wisdom,
Hutch.
and just like you treat them like adults, you get adults back.
Hutch, you do not even know how apt that line that you just said is. I was just talking about with right before I got you on. I was talking about how when you have a kid, you're still the person you were the day before. We're the same person forever. The fact that we treat teenagers like they ain't adults, it's like, come on, man. You're the same person from the day you're born to the
foolish.
day that you die. Nothing ever changes you. You're the same forever. Stop treating kids like they're not the person that they're going to be in 50 years. Okay?
Yep.
We don't change.
We
Human
should be
beings
treating
don't
babies
change.
like they're older than they are.
Yes.
Humans never change.
Humans
Humans
don't
are
change.
locked in.
Yes.
You are
Touch. Yes.
You're
Jesus.
locked in. So like, let's start just appreciating each other for the where we are. Let's not wait for this long journey to end. You're there.
Oh my God. I truly cannot.
Show me a kid when he's 6 years old. I'll know what he's like when he's 70.
Yeah, exactly. Show me a baby. Listen, when my kids, each one of my kids, when they were born, all they did
many
was
got?
cry. I had three. I had three kids, Cooper, Rayleigh, and Braylon, and all three of them, when they were born, for the first 6 months that they were alive, they would not stop looking at me, and it was just like, you guys gotta find something else to occupy your time with. I can't be the only thing that you care about.
Yeah.
And that just never stopped.
Stop being so obsessed with me.
It's it.
Yeah.
Just stop
They
being
never
obsessed
stop.
with me.
Of course. Well, yeah, locked in.
Yeah. Oh man.
And they still
Jeez.
are?
Not. We'll say from afar. Things ain't so good with me and
Okay.
BB. I don't know if you knew. Me and BB got a divorce.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. And
Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
no, I mean it's fine.
Frankly, though, I saw it coming. I saw
Yeah.
it coming, Brett. I never wanted to say anything because it's just not appropriate to tell a man what you think about his personal relationship. But you didn't
Yeah.
look happy. You looked like
Man.
something was amiss.
Wow. It's. I wish more people maybe had said something to me before. And I'm not going to admit that I was the problem. I don't think I was the problem. I think she was my problem.
I don't think so either.
I think she was my problem,
think
and I
she was
needed
the
to get
problem.
away from it. But let me tell you this, Hutch.
Yeah.
In the future, if you see something, say something. Okay? If you see something, if you
Okay,
see me
I'll
out on
remember
the
that.
street or whatever, and it looks like there's something going on, stop me and say, "Hey, Brett, is everything going okay? What's going on?"
What's happening here? Yeah, things look wrong here. Okay, I will. I was a bit hesitant to get involved. Next time I will speak up.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this: chances are I'm gonna pretend like nothing's wrong. That's because that's just who I am. But I
Well,
think if
then
enough
it's not
people
on
were
me
honest-
anymore. Yeah.
it's true. If enough people
just-
say something though, maybe it'll get through. But
Yeah, like
Hutch,
10 or 12 people say something to you. Maybe that'll even it out.
yeah, Hutch, I think it's just about time for us to wrap things up here. But man,
right.
I'll tell
So
you this:
good talking to you.
it was so good talking to you. I hope that we've made believers out of everybody watching right now because
Me too.
I think Hutch deserves justice. So, folks, if you want to tweet at City Council, at School Board, just say Justice for Hutch. Let's get Justice for Hutch trending on Twitter. Maybe we can take over from this Bean Dad guy for a little while on Twitter with some
I'm
Justice
so sick
for
of
Hutch.
this Bean Dad stuff.
I said it before. Don't let this guy have a moment, folks. Nobody needs to let this guy have a moment. Be down with Bean Dad.
Down with Bean Dad,
Down
just
with
for the attention he's getting.
Yeah, exactly. But Hutch, it was really great talking to you, man. And I hope at some point things get resolved and they let you back in the classroom because I think the modern day classroom just ain't what it needs to be for these kids. So I'm going to be pulling for
Thank
you
you, Brett.
for forever until the day that I die, Hutch.
Thank you, Brett.
Also, gas
It's Brett,
can-
right?
Yeah, it is. It is, Brett. It is.
A lot of the students blend together. I'm so
I know.
sorry. I mean,
I
I
know.
know you. Okay.
I know, yeah, I get
Sorry
it.
about that.
Yeah, you've met 3,000 kids. You met 300,000 kids, maybe. So I can't expect you to
Probably
remember everybody.
300,000.
Yeah, seriously. And I just want to say also, I guess Gascan did hit me up, and he wanted me to pub his show. He's doing a show. Gascan is doing a show at the bowling alley with his. It says here, black metal band.
Yeah, death metal.
Death metal. Yeah, okay. And did they change their name? Because he's calling the name now the kidnappers. Real on the nose.
Son of a gun, really?
Yeah.
Boy, he is courting disaster because he was a top suspect. He's lucky that it was aliens. 'cause
I know.
Otherwise, Gascan would be suspect number one.
Yeah, he's making himself look crazy.
He's really court. Boy, he sure does like to court trouble. That Gascan.
He does indeed. But Hutch, have a great one, man. It was great chatting with you, and I'll talk to you again real soon.
Good
All
seeing
right,
you, Brett.
all right. Take it easy,
Take
man.
care.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Oh, take it easy. Oh, folks, that was Hutch, my high school history teacher who was definitely abducted by aliens. He was definitely abducted by aliens. I'm sorry, kidnapped by aliens. So if somebody out there is disputing his story, please take a minute to correct them. We'd love that. As he said, he's gonna send me a picture, one of his 8x10s, and I'd love to be able to pay him that $64 for it. So, if anybody would be so kind as to throw a couple bucks in the donation pot, that money will go directly to Hutch to pay for that $64 8x10 picture of him in handcuffs in a basement, and I would really appreciate the help getting there. So please you can type !donate into the chat and a little link will pop up. I think it just popped up in there, and I'd really appreciate it if you could do that for me. Folks, thank you all so much for being here today. Honestly, it's nice. It's always so good to be here. You know, and I appreciate everybody letting me sort of let off some steam the Bean Dad situation. Okay, I just needed a place to scream about it, and I love that I have this podcast to do it. It's always nice to be able to get on here and say what the hell's on my mind. But folks, thanks so much for being here. As always, if you could throw a couple bucks in the donation pot, that'd be very, very, very much appreciated. I will be back next Tuesday with another episode of How You Been. And I don't know an exact date yet, but I think John will be getting back on a stream at some point real soon. And he'll probably announce that in the Discord and on Twitter. I think he's probably going to come back with a big charity stream of some kind, playing Minesweeper. I think I announced that for him last time. But I just want to let you all know he's going to stream the sweep. Hashtag stream the sweep, whatever the hell that means. I guess it's a big hashtag thing. So keep an eye out on the Discord or on Twitter for that announcement. And folks, I guess that's all I got to say. Maybe next week we'll do a vote or something on what I'm going to change my last name to, because I don't know if I can handle seeing Damot anymore, knowing what my family did to me. But I'll save that decision for another time. But thank you all so much for being here. I will see you next week. And until then, Brett out.